You might have noticed a talking testicle on the internet recently. I'm joined in studio by Mike Barnwell. He's going to tell us why this testicle is on our computer screens and just how he made it. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Now we're talking about talking testicles today. Did
Yes,
you
we
ever
are.
think we would be having this conversation?
No, I did not, but I'm very glad that we are.
Well, why don't we start out by the logistics of making this talking testicle, because when I first saw it, I was amazed at how real it looked and how
Yes.
almost human-like its movements were.
So, I mean, it's been a process we've been working on for almost a year now. The animation itself has taken about 8 months from beginning to end. I mean, the campaign launched last week, Monday. And essentially, I mean, the process is we filmed an actor, speaking, and we'd cut out the shape of their mouth, and then frame by frame, we'd place that mouth onto our little characters. And I mean, that's it in a nutshell. How
many people does it take to make a campaign like this?
Behind the scenes, there was probably about 15 or so people, I think.
Wow.
I mean, it's a much bigger campaign than just the little video that you would have seen online. You know, there's a microsite which features a little Q&A, and there's a bunch of shout-outs that have been sent out via social media. So there's a lot of people who are monitoring the campaign, as it's going along live now, over the past week or so.
Now, you said it took about 8 months to create these talking testicles. What goes into creating that? What do these animators have to do? I think a lot of people don't realize how much work it takes to actually animate something.
I mean, essentially, the process of animation is a frame-by-frame process. And just to give you some context, within the space of 1 second, there's 25 frames that need to be animated. So, these clips are like well over a minute long. So you can imagine how many frames we have to animate frame by frame to, create a 1 minute clip. So it's a very lengthy process. And then just the detail and the amount of time that goes into designing those characters as well. I mean, as you say, they are fairly realistic. So, there's the hair and the folds of the skin and all those sorts of things. Have taken a lot of time and consideration.
What did you take into consideration when you were making these?
It sort of went through quite a few different incarnations. They started off as very, very stylized little characters, almost looked like little round eggs. And we just felt that in order to get cut through, we needed to be a little bit more realistic, And yes, we didn't want to be so realistic that it was difficult to look at. But they needed to be realistic enough to get people's attention, and I mean, thankfully, it's done that.
Now that's the other side to this. They're not only amazing animations, but there's a cause behind it. Tell me about why you want to get people's attention with these testicles.
Well, I mean, the whole idea is based on the insight that testicular cancer is something that men feel pretty uncomfortable about talking about. And they'd rather get caught, I think, crying in front of an episode of Grey's Anatomy than speak about their testicles for some reason. So what we wanted to do was just remove the awkwardness around the topic, approach the conversation from a more light-hearted point of view, and hopefully, just kind of break through that barrier.
Why not launch this in November? We know November as the month where we speak about men's health, testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and mental health. Why not launch this?
So 2 reasons. I mean, the first one is that the Movember campaign is like a long-standing campaign. It pretty much owns that month, and has done for a long time. And we didn't want to send out sort of mixed messages. And then, we also wanted the conversation to be running for longer than just 1 month.
Anyone who wants to find more information or maybe watch the full clips, how can they do that?
So there's a microsite that's been set up called Testimonials, with a hyphen between testy and monials. .co.za, and on that site you can see both the clips, and there's a whole Q&A that's been set out there as well, where you can actually ask this little character questions directly. And if we haven't managed to answer your questions, and there's a link back to the cancer site as well that will hopefully be able to provide the rest of the answers for you.